Hey, once again, you've landed straight into Hella Vella. And I'm so glad you're here. This is Azriel Lawless, and you found yourself another Lawless interview. And today we are going to be talking with Kindle Vella author, Jane. Is it Apatova or
Apatova?
Apatova. See, I'm saying that right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Look at
Very Eastern European there.
There you go. So we're going to be talking to Jane. How you doing, Jane?
Good. I'm really good today. Very relaxed.
Oh, excellent. I'm so glad to hear that because it's a Sunday and that's what you should be doing on Sunday is relax.
We should be trying, right? Instead, we should be writing too.
Actually, we should be writing every day at all times, every minute, every day. That's kind of, you feel the guilt every minute, every day. So I guess
Definitely.
we think we should be, huh?
I like how we're talking before and now suddenly my cat decided to join us on the table. So she might come over and say hello.
Oh, that would be awesome. And
I prefer not to, because she's a little intense.
And yeah, that would be awesome. And my dogs might decide to go insane and bark. So
if she meows, yes.
There she is.
No, she's hiding. She's hiding. She's on the table, but she's side by side.
So I was teasing you before we got started. I called you a smut queen, right?
Which is gonna make me blush. So please, but maybe put a mask on.
We talked about her wearing a mask. So anyway, no, I think it's great. I love the stuff that you write. And so anyway, we're going to go with the questions. So I'm going to ask you the questions now.
Of course, of course.
And how long have you been writing? When did you get started writing?
You can basically say like throughout like high school, I was in our literary club and poetry club in school. So I was writing then. I have 3 little journals that we published for our school newspaper of poetry. And that's kind of where I kind of ended my writing career, you can basically say, because I wasn't really thinking about being an author or writing in general or anything of that sort. But about 2 years ago, when the pandemic started and I was on furlough from my job, you know, you're just kind of home and you're bored and you want to do something else, right? And then I have this thing about like from watching movies or TV shows, I'm always like looking at that story. I'm like, well, I could have done this a little differently, or I could have rewritten this way. And then that kind of inspired me to start thinking of like, well, what can I do? And then I started kind of creating like this story, which isn't technically what my current serial is, but it started in that sense where I'm like, okay, well, if I do this story, you know, how do I explain it? So I started writing what is part of the Insatiable series. I guess you can say it will be the very, very ending of it, probably a third of the book. And then I said to myself, wait a second, but I need to be able to explain this. I need to explain the story. Like, how do I get to this point and what inspired this? And then I started thinking about like summarizing and doing maybe a prequel. And then that turned into another prequel. And then it turned into another prequel. And then I'm like, okay, this is 5 books now. It's gonna be like 5 completely different stories. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just do something for fun. And at that time, I used to also like start reading on the like serialized apps, you know, the other ones that we don't mention.
Yeah.
And it just so happens like we went back to work and one of my coworkers was also reading the same apps. And she's like, oh my God, this is so much fun. You should be, you know, she's read previously some of my work and we've been friends for a long time. And she's like, you should write your stuff here. Like just post your stuff. You can do this. This is just, you know, fun. You're an amateur, you know, aspiring author. I'm like, I'm not an aspiring author. I just kind of enjoy this. This is like my passion, but I didn't think I was going to do anything special with it. And I first decided, you know what, I'm going to write the story first before I start posting it anywhere else. So a year ago, around this time, I had finished what is currently Dragon Blood of the Insatiable series. At least the first like 55 chapters of it was completed around this time. And that's when I started shopping to see what, you know, app I would want to post to, because I don't want to just post it and put it out there. And it's, you know, it's free to read to everybody else, but I also want to, you know, gain an audience. I want to see where this leads. Will this be something that I'll be interested in doing further? And that led me to another app outside of Vella. And I first started posting there, and like
Hey,
within
hang on.
yeah.
Does that app rhyme with radish?
No,
Oh,
no,
cool.
actually it's not. There's a lot of other apps out there, a lot.
How come we can't
Um,
say the name of another app? I don't see any reason we can't say the name of that.
oh, well, no. This specific app, I don't want to give them any entitlement ever again.
I
It
see.
was a very bad experience.
They were a bunch of
And I will,
assholes. Assholes.
yes, complete appholes. Okay. It was, you had a very bad experience with them, and I never want to give them a light and update ever. Like, the only good thing came out of being on that app is I met so many great other authors who also had the same issues and left that same app. One of them being Joey Fromling, one of our Vellas.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's how her and I
Cool,
actually
yeah.
met. We met on this other app like last summer, and we both had the same like ideals of, community, supporting each other. We're starting off fresh. We want to help each other out. And there were other authors on this app who took all the time. They said, I am the author and you mean nothing and your work is nothing. And it got to that point where like even readers would divide themselves up, like who will support who. And I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be. We're here to read and enjoy the written work. Like, don't tell these readers that you should not be reading this person's work, and vice versa. There's just so much happening. And I had gained a lot of really like genuine readers who were excited about the work. And I call them my OGs because they still follow me here to Vella. But a lot of them, because the other app gave my work away for free. They wouldn't sign me after I had already gained almost 1,000 readers. I was averaging almost 3,000 reads a week. And this is just on Dragon Blood. I hadn't even like started the Dragon Queen part. And those readers were the ones who gave me the idea of like, hey, why don't you do a side story on some of these characters? Because you have so many characters in Dragon Blood. There's so many, FMCs and MMCs that maybe some of them deserve a side story of their own. And they're the ones who kind of gave me that idea of to do Kiss of Sight. And that's when I started.
So,
yeah.
But you reached out and you took your stuff back. So Dragon Blood
because it
over.
was available for free. I could do whatever I wanted to do with it. I wasn't signed to them, so they couldn't really touch it. But it was just that experience where they kept on denying like any, I guess you can say they denied the contract. They said they didn't want to sign it. That I wasn't ready to be signed. I didn't have enough audience. And I'm like, you're telling me I have 1,000 readers. And I was literally in the top 4 of in that genre of books. And you wouldn't sign me. So I said, that's fine. It's okay. I'll figure this out on my own. And at the same time, Joey and I were just consistently talking, and she had like kind of a similar situation, and she left them and she found Kindle Vella, and she told me about Kindle Vella. And I'm like, should I try? Like, should I trust in another app? Because at this point, I already had Dragon Blood completed. I already started writing Dragon Queen. Kiss of Sight has already been written on the side as well. So it's like 3 different things happening at the same time. And I'm like, all right, do I trust Kindle Vella? Will they be supportive? Will the other authors on the app will be real, supporters of indie authors versus it's all about me? Because, we're indie authors. We're together. We're one team. We're in it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I joined Kindle Vella, and then I started, all the Facebook groups, right? Joined all of them, and then just seeing the interactions that we all had, everybody has, right?
Right.
And I'm just like, this is a community. This is where we really, work together to help each other grow. We help, advertise each other. And that's how I found Kindle Vella. Yeah.
Really?
Through Joey. Joey was the one who went there first. And then I'm like, all right, let me just.
So when was
this? What I can do? When? This was October.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Last year. Yeah, October of last year. At that point, like I already had all of Dragon Blood completed. I had started on Dragon Queen. Kiss of Sight was only, I thought of it as more of a novella. It was going to be short, like maybe 15 chapters. And at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm going to start slowly. Let me see how this leads to where I wanted to go. And in November is when I first published Dragon Blood. I dropped all first 86 chapters. That's what it is, 1 through 86. Like, here you go, as it is, as it was on the other app. Did not edit nothing, didn't adjust anything. I was like, I'm going to let it be. I'm like, even all the grammatical errors, take it all. Let it be the way it is. Like, let's see what happens. I'm like, if eventually, once I decide to go to print, eventually, I'm like, I'll go through the edit process. I'll add the extra things I want to add. I'll take things out that doesn't, matter anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. What a
A lot.
story. That's
All within 1
great.
year.
Okay, so is that true also for Kiss of Sight?
So Kiss of Sight, I started writing because a couple of my OG readers from the other app, they wanted to know more about the other couple. That's the FMC, MMC, the Henri and Helena. They wanted to know more about their story, what happened to them prior to Dragon Blood events, because they're different timelines. And I'm like, all right, I can do like a little novella. It could be more of a smutty one instead of just like trying to do world building and a little bit of spice. This would be like all spice. This could be all your smut. Here you go. Take it all. So I started writing it kind of in that sense as a novella. And then as I started posting it in December and into January, I realized I can expand more on it, give them a little bit more of world building just to connect it back to the things that we discussed throughout Dragon Blood and Dragon Queen, where they kind of connect a little bit of their storyline. So I wanted to connect it together. So I'm literally at almost the end of Kiss of Sight. Like I have 6 more chapters to upload and we're done. We're done with it.
And so how many did it come out to be?
So right now I'm chapter 30, so 6 more chapters, so 36 chapters. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm also planning on having it actually published and printed. I've already hired a book cover, like an actual real book cover designer who already has my Kiss of Sight and Dragon Blood ready to go. Yeah. So
awesome.
we're getting there.
That's exciting. I'm so happy for you. Wow. So, okay. So Dragon Blood, you had 82 chapters when you came over? 86.
Yeah.
And then now and then Dragon Queen is added how many chapters so far?
So we're at 117 in total at this point. So that's what, 30 chapters? My math is correct. Yeah, 30 chapters, 31 chapters.
31. Yeah.
And there's still a lot to go through it.
Oh, wow. So you expect it to be as long as Dragon Blood?
Not maybe as long. I'm thinking more around in the 60 area, like where the current summary of my outline is. It gives me maybe another 30 chapters. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, so you've been writing these for a minute, and you are pretty prolific. How many chapters chapters or episodes can you get through in let's say a week?
It's different every single time, because I do get those moments where I have like writer's block. So like last week I've written 1 chapter in total, but then there was a week where I've written 10 chapters. And it's not even about the chapters, it's the size of the chapters. Like, I mean, if you're looking at all my chapter sizes, I think the shortest one is about 1,200 words and the biggest one is 3,900 words. And that's throughout all of the books.
So it goes, it varies all over the place.
Yeah, it varies all over. It depends on what I really want to speak to. And if I need to split the chapters up, I will, because I've had that happen where I had chapters that got to like almost 5,000 words. And I'm like, I'm going to have to split this somewhere, because it would be a little too much for the reader to like get through in one shot.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I wrestle with
some chapters, some of the chapters, like, you can see, have the cliffhanger and spill over into the next chapter. So there's never a real ending.
Well, that's pretty cool. All right. So that's a lot to have out there. So you've done well on Vella, haven't you?
Pretty decent. I mean, I was surprised to see like there was a reaction and people actually were reading it. Obviously, there's still some ways to go. There's readers who have their specific genres, and I can't tell that maybe on Vella that the whole dragon genre is something that's really, really big. There's definitely a good amount of us authors who are writing in that scenes, I guess you can say, but not in the same way as, like, for example, like Nikki St. Crow, for example. Like, I've been reading all of her stuff, right? And the vampire stories, it's definitely something that's super hot on Vella.
Okay.
Shifter stories.
Yeah. So you're talking about the tropes now, right?
Yeah. So with the tropes, I mean, it's still in the same trope of the age gap, the goodness. I'm like, I'm gonna try to list them all out. It's a little too much. there's definitely a lot of tropes within the stories themselves.
Well, okay, but I'm saying you were talking about dragons. You're saying you didn't know
Right. So
dragons.
you can say it's a trope, but it's more like it's a part of like what the shifter trope, because you have different shifters, right? You have the werewolves, you have the vampires, they're all part of the shifter trope.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I would assume, I mean, a shifter can become anything, right?
Yeah. So they're all part of the same, all the different shifters are part of the one trope, shifters. Whether
Right.
it's dragons or werewolves or lions, whatever the new thing is, right? I've seen someone talk about phoenixes. I'm like, how do you shift into a phoenix, right?
Right.
Yeah, so they're also part of the same trope, shifters.
Okay. But there is still a shifter themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Into anything.
in paranormal, you've got
Yeah, paranormal,
vampires,
exactly.
werewolves, friggin' whatever, zombies, mummies, whatever.
I've seen it. I've seen puma. Like I said, I've seen pumas. Even I've seen tigers. I've seen people like shifting to people into different things, and I'm like, I think this is part of the shifter trope.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with that. Okay. So anyway, what were you saying? You didn't know what was right for dragons?
No, but so what I meant by that is more, if you're looking at currently what's popular on Kindle Vella, what's in the top 100, I
Right.
think it's just like myself and maybe one other author who you can see their actual genre is about dragons.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's something that the readers on Kindle Vella are interested in reading, or is being pushed as much.
Do you think maybe there's just not as much available?
I can't say that, because you have the little bubbles at the end, right? And you have like the dragon one. There's like 100+ authors that have something that's a dragon inside of their books. 100+.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not being really seen, but I think it can happen. I think it could go back to being there. Because if you think of it, like Game of Thrones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whole dragons. So when Game of Thrones was out, that's when it was really popular to see all of these books on dragons. Right now, there's nothing out there for us to watch that's in the dragon trope, you can basically say. And so that's not what's currently is popular. But once the next part of Game of Thrones comes out this summer, I'm sure dragons will be back and people will be like, oh my God, I want to read about dragons. That's how it is. Like right now, think of it like, okay, Bridgerton is extremely popular. So everyone's looking for Regency reads. They want to who are Regency. What's popular? Yeah, Regent.
What's extremely popular?
Bridgerton. So people are looking to read Regency tropes.
I don't know what Bridgerton is.
It's on Netflix. It's really, it's all about the Regency era, and it's very smutty. It's kind of like Gossip Girl meets the Regency era. That's what it really is.
Okay. I will
trying to say, on the popular end, to know what's happening out there, so we can connect with all the, as you said before, the younger generation.
Yes, of course, I'm going to watch it. And it won't just be for that. It will be for the smut. So
yes, I mean, there's not that much smut. It's definitely a lot of steam. Yeah, definitely.
Steam. When does steam become smut? Where's the line? Where's the line?
So actually, that's funny that you said that. So I was so Audrey Carlin, right? She did this TikTok video the other day, and she had explained the differences in between like erotic romance and erotica, and what are the differences.
I'm gonna have to check her TikTok out.
So she basically said, like, erotica is where most of the book is all about the actual smut, and it's super detailed, and it's it takes up most of your book. There's really not much to go on the plot. It's all about the smut.
And that's erotica. That's
erotica.
Like the highest level.
Yes, basically. With
or the lowest.
The lowest, but it's fine. For the romantic, or like the romance, that's more like an erotic. It's a lot about the plot, and yes, you have the steamy scenes, and you can have the detail in the steamy scenes, but it's not that much of it. It's more about the actual plot of the story. And yes, you will get the detailed scenes. Yep.
So that's romantic erotica?
It's erotic romance because you have the
Erotic romance.
detailed scenes. Yeah. Erotic romance. So you still get the detailed
So they
scenes, but there's
come
not
out
that many of them. It's more about the plot and how you get there. It could be your slow burn, and you still get the all the part of the slow burn in it, and then you get to the erotic part at the end.
Or you might, okay, well, maybe get 2 or 3 scenes, maybe.
Maybe you may get like a little bit of like the foreplay of, you know, and then you'll get the slow burn at the end. So actually, if you think of like my books, for example, so Kiss of Sight is more of an erotica. There is a lot more
Yes.
smut and detailed, and try to make it as really smutty and dirty as possible.
Right.
But then in Dragon Blood, it's more of a romance erotic. There's maybe a total of 3 actual scenes through 86 chapters, right? And then there's definitely a lot of like foreplay here and there, but there's also a lot of characters. So giving every character a little bit of time takes time, but also there's a lot more world building and plot.
Yes.
So it's completely the opposite. That's why if you look at my like the designation, it says fantasy erotica for Kiss of Sight and fantasy romance for Dragon Blood.
Right.
Yeah, even though it looks like Dragon Queen might be leading you to the erotica part for some reason. Trying not to, but it just happens. Too many characters need their time.
It just goes there. It just goes. So what is, okay. So romantic erotica. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then so what's the one that is one step cleaner than that then? What would that be?
I mean, it could be just romance. It could be the slow burn. It could also be the lingo too. If you think about like the language being utilized, right? So we have what I've been designating it as like the triple C. If your book says the word the 3 C's, then that's already in the erotic sense. If you're being very like, you know, his shaft versus his. So that's kind of more of on the cleaner end, but you can still have the scenes, but not as extensive. You can talk about what happens in the scene, but don't go completely into detail. Or it could be completely a slow burn where you feel the tension, but nothing's happening. Yeah, nothing's happening. And that's actually, it's so funny because this reminded me of a conversation I had with one of my OG readers. So in Dragon Blood, the FMC Eliza and then the MMC Gareth, they are a slow burn. There is definitely scenes in the middle of some foreplay, a little here, a little there, but it doesn't like get to the point until the very end. Basically, chapter 86 is your end.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've had some OGs like they're like, we finally get to the scene and you ended on us. I'm like, you're welcome. That's how you do it. Cliffhanger. What happens next?
Well, so now I'm just going to go read 86.
Oh goodness.
What can I tell you? I know.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't ask you what the 3 C's were. I didn't have to bother.
Thank God. Please don't. Please don't. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I'm sure we know.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Here we are. So Vella has been good to you. That's really cool. I like that. I like to
definitely.
hear that. Because it is something new entirely, the way that the authors are coming together and the way that, you know, it's becoming its own sort of community. And I think it's reflective of now, because people like to do things together. You know, the pandemic kind of separated us and isolated us. And I think that, you know, people are like, you know, being on your own all the time sucks, man. I'm going to go out and find a community of people online that I'm going to connect with, you know, and I'm going to be part of this thing. And I think that's kind of what Vella is all about. It's it's more now, shorter
Mhm.
episodes. People have more time to don't have any time. So people are more apt and more able to read shorter episodes than to try and sit down and read an entire book,
Right, right. I mean, reading an entire book, you have to really like remember why you picked it up in the first place. And if you have to stop, where did you stop? And then remembering what happened. And I think with the way with the episodes, with the chapter or read by chapter, you start in the beginning, right? You start learning about the characters, you start learning about the plot of the story. If you're enjoying it, you will continue reading it. You will not stop. You will look for it every single day to be updated. And if you didn't enjoy it, you can just stop right there. And you don't have to worry about having a book sitting on your shelf that you're never going to touch again.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. And there was some movie, I can't remember exactly what movie it was, but this man was talking about, keep being happy in life, and he talked about how every Sunday, the whole family would get in the car and go to town and everyone would get a treat and, yada, yada. And that it wasn't about what they got, they never got anything big. It was about having something to look forward to. And that having something to look forward to is one of the best things in life. And it really is. And when you're following a serial story like that, you are looking forward to that next episode.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we know this as writers, we know this, and it keeps us writing. So, I am looking forward to having enough to put into book form too, because that's super cool about the platform that you can keep it
Definitely.
in Kindle Vella and put it out on Kindle. It can be in both places, and that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to learning about that side of it because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, no, the KDP program I think is definitely interesting. You also have to make a decision whether you want to make it Kindle Unlimited to be exclusive to just Amazon, or if you want to, be more global and go to the different areas, different publishers. But having it on Kindle, Vella at first, kind of an introduction. It's an introduction to who you are as an author, what kind of genre do you write in? Will it be something that readers will pick up eventually, right? And then you can always adjust and edit it. And, like I'm planning on for Kiss of Sight, even though it's going to be the 36 chapters that's going to be on Kindle Vella, I'm still going to add in the print version 2 epilogues. I have some extensions on some of the scenes just to kind of make it a little bit more special. Because, if I have a reader who's going to read it on Kindle Vella, why would they buy me the book? But I want them to buy the book because I want them to read the epilogue. I want them to get the art. I want them to get the extra scenes. So you still have to make it a little bit more special. And I definitely gonna like the fact that we can do that with, KDP. You can still upload it differently. You can adjust it how you want to adjust it. You can combine the chapters. Instead of having 36 chapters, I can adjust the chapters based on the sizes that I need them to be at, or put them back the way they were. So instead of splitting my chapters because they're too big for, an episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You don't have to upload it exactly the same way.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to upload it exactly the same way you have it on Kindle Vella, as long as you upload the work. And you follow the rules. The 30 days, it's completed. You don't adjust anything on Kindle Vella, then you can go ahead and upload it.
Right. Yeah. But could you actually change some stuff from going from Kindle Vella to your book?
Right, because I'm not adjusting it in Kindle Vella. Like, obviously, I have it, on Atticus is one of the programs I'm using, so I can still adjust what I have on Atticus, and you upload it to KDP separately. So you don't take it straight from Kindle Vella to KDP. You take it from what you currently have it in saved and bring it to KDP. You can always
but I still write in Word, so
yeah, no, exactly. So Dragon Blood is written in actual Word, which is crazy because as I'm looking at it, I'm like, 180,000 words, 86 chapters. It's like, oh my God.
Is that how big it actually is?
Only Dragon Blood is 180,000 words.
That's huge. That's huge for
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then it's currently for Dragon Queen, it's about it was 250 the last I checked in total. So 70,000 words. And she's only
Yeah.
halfway through.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent. Now, see, I like writing big books, but
yeah.
it's not, that's not what's,
Well, right. So, but with Kindle Vella, I mean, again, like our readers can go on, they can read it. They're going to read the same 180,000 words one way or the other, right? They're going to say, oh my God, you have 86 chapters, but it's a whole story. Like at the end, do I give you part of it now and part of it later and part of it after that? No, you just keep going. That's why I have Dragon Queen attached to Dragon Blood as the next season together. Because aside, you can read it on its own. It's a side story. It's part of the whole Insatiable series. They're still the same characters. You're going to meet them in Dragon Blood and in Dragon Queen and so on and so forth. But at least the continuation, Dragon Blood has to lead into Dragon Queen, and Dragon Queen will lead into the fourth second book that I'm not going to name, because if I name it, people will know what's going to happen at the end of Dragon Queen. So no.
oh no, you can't name it, but there's another something coming in the Insatiable.
Oh yeah. Right after Dragon Queen, there's another one. And then there's a fifth story that's going to be kind of the same way that Kiss of Sight is. It's going to be kind of in the same sense, a side story, but still part of the series. So it will end kind of like where the fourth book, or in the Dragon Blood, Dragon Blood, Dragon Queen in the next one, where that one will end is exactly where the fifth book will end. They'll meet together, basically. Yeah, I have it's so crazy. Yes. Because like the way I'm gonna have Kiss of Sight ending, well, it's ending basically right into Dragon Blood. And so Dragon Blood leads into Dragon Queen will lead into the next one. But then the fifth story is a side story. So it's happening at the same time as the fourth book, and they will meet together at the end.
Okay. All right.
And that's just those 5 books. That's not even the original setup that I had, where I had written that third of a book, and I said, hold on, I need to write like the prequels. I have a whole other set coming through on that as well. So it's looking like a 10-book series.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that, but I'm like, it's looking like a 10-book series.
Tolkienetta. Wow. Well, that's quite the arc.
I haven't really told a lot of people that I'm going that far in, but yeah, it's looking like it's gonna be a 10-book series, and I'm excited, and I'm gonna let it go however long it's gonna take me to write, whether it's 2 years, 3 years. It's gonna take time to get it all out, but it's gonna be long.
That is a massive story arc and very ambitious, but you're up for it. I know you are.
Up for it. I'm up for it.
I know you are. I know. And I'm just going to watch you go. It is really exciting. It is exciting for me. I didn't start until I was too old. It's very cool to see much younger authors getting a start a lot sooner than they might have. I mean, if it hadn't been for the pandemic, you might not have gotten started for many years like me. You might have worked for many years without realizing.
Yep. Honestly, like without even realizing that I could do something and put it out there. Like at the end, I'm a very much of an introvert as well. So even like doing this interview, I'm just like, really, me? Like, don't put me on camera. I hate video.
I think you're doing very well. I think you're doing just fine.
Hopefully. We'll see what happens, right?
I think
we're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it flow.
Yes, indeed. And I'm just, I just think it's and it's happened for not just you, but a lot of writers, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't have retired for another 4 years, and I'm not sure I won't be dead. So, well, no,
don't say that.
Well, no, I'm just saying you never know, right? And by the time I had 4 more years of the grind, I don't know if I'd have had it in me.
Right.
And Kindle Vella would have been 4 years down the road. It might have been a lot more difficult to get any kind of traction, So I just see a big old silver lining in seeing all this new talent coming out, and, you know, new and exciting things to read, and maybe someday there'll be new and exciting things to watch streaming, you know. Lately I've been
Right.
pretty dry
Listen, I
on
mean,
that front.
if Amazon makes Kindle Vella's like their serialized program, right? Imagine they pick somebody up and they say, "Hey, I'm really enjoying the way your episodes are placed. I really enjoy reading the story. There you go, Amazon Prime. Let's make a TV show out of this," right? Like,
Exactly. And
yeah,
Amazon is starting to turn out really good quality films. In
exactly.
fact, they kind of started out that way because they've got the money behind them. So
Yes, the Bezos money.
yes, Amazon Studios is definitely well equipped all the way around. I'm certain of it. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something. Like, I mean, look at it, right? Like, I'm going to use Audrey Carlin as an example one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So she obviously she has a movie coming out on Passionflix.
Netflix.
No,
Yes.
Passionflix.
Say what?
Audrey Carlin. So she
Yes, but
has
I don't
a
even know
movie
what
coming out.
Passionflix is.
It's also a streaming service, and so she has a film that's being made, and I'm super excited to see it. But imagine like she's one of our top, authors, and then her marriage auction, takes off, and then Amazon's like, let's make this into a TV show, or let's make this into, a movie. So it's just kind of as an example, just using that. But that's kind of like, you have to kind of think in the future sense, this could be something different too, right? So Amazon owns so much, and they can use the same people who technically we work for Amazon. That's what it is. We're working for Amazon right now, and they can come in and say, hey, I enjoyed this. Well, let's take this further. What else can we do for, with your work? Hopefully they think that way, right?
Right.
Have all this
I
talent
think we
right
need to
there.
cut this little segment of video and like just blast it everywhere.
Like, Amazon, please look at, you have all these great authors with this great serials, and if you want to create TV shows, here they are. You have
Right.
the authors who are writing. You just need to put the money back there and say, let's make TV shows out of them.
There's a bunch of them that would just be
Uh-huh.
absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful
Absolutely.
in every category.
Definitely. Oh my God.
Yeah, wouldn't that be? I don't think I'd ever really thought about it that way. Truly not. I don't mean
Mhm.
it's so straightforward. Why wouldn't I think of it that way? So freaking awesome. Well, okay, that's given me something to think about. And so now I can't think of what I was going to ask you. Oh, yeah. Now it's time for you to tell me if you read Vella's, and if so, whose would you like to give a little shout out to?
Goodness, I'm reading a lot of Vellas. So that's also why I'm procrastinating in writing, because I'm
Are
reading
you
so much.
reading, would you say hella Vella's?
Yes, yes, absolutely, of course. Okay, so for example, obviously Joey Fromling, I will call her my work wife. There you go. That's gonna be her nickname, work wife.
Oh
So
man.
her, so her entire like Mistress Giselle, A Devil's Hope. That's like my favorite series that she currently has on Vella. I mean, she has even more than that, but A Devil's Hope is her newest one, and I started reading that. And I've been friends with her since back before Vella, but I've been following her
How
series,
is
and I'm
this
just like,
obvious to anyone? Any of
I
that
don't know.
stuff
I've
we
been just
talked
saying
about?
it. I've been talking about it all time, the entire time. I'm like, so the person that brought me to Vella is Joey. Yeah, so I've been reading her work just because I've already been so invested in these characters, and I just want to know what's gonna happen next. So every time she puts up an episode, I'm like, oh woo, yes, let's go. Obviously Gage, as we're gonna say, the Godfather,
Okay.
right? The nickname we gave him, the Godfather, the Winter's Myth. I remember when I first started reading it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be, a dystopian. They have kids, they're gonna be this, discovering the world. Oh, maybe my nieces can read this. And he's like, you sure you want your nieces to read this? I'm like, what? And then I started reading more and I'm like, oh, no, this is not for my little children. Maybe for the
No.
20-year-old, sure, why not? But yeah, so definitely, right?
Okay.
Victoria Wright, right? The Her Dark Secrets. That one I'm like consistently looking for updates.
Her Dark
Goodness.
Secrets.
Yeah, Her Dark Secrets. I feel like I'm going to shout out everybody else. And then obviously, you know, ma'am, with your vampire story there,
What?
with your other vampire story,
What other vampire story?
yours,
Oh,
under
oh,
your other pen name.
oh, what she's talking about is that myself and another author together, we make Kira Kroff. And
There you
Kira
go.
Kroff has only written one thing so far. She's only working on one Vella so far, and it's called Dark Wings Eternal. And I will put a link in the description
You
to
better.
that Vella. Thank you very much for that shout out. And on behalf of my writing partner, thank you. Yeah, and so it is a joint effort. Something that I mean, we just the two of us thought it would just be a lot of fun to write episodes that are just kind of like a ping pong ball,
Interchanging, between each other,
back and forth, because I write the male perspective of a demon male, son of Lucifer, real badass, and she writes the female perspective that is a vampire, and she's a little more proper than Lucifer is, and certainly her writing is cleaner than mine. But yeah, it's under a different name because it's a different
I didn't know if you wanted to mention it like that. That's I'm like, do I mention it?
It's for grown-ups. It's for grown-ups.
I mean,
yeah, no, I'm quite proud of it. I'm quite proud of the work we do. I just you know, I find it's difficult to promote everything I'd like to promote. You know, you feel
right.
Eventually you feel like you're shoving stuff down people's throats, and you don't want to do that either. So yeah, but thank you very much for that. That's cool. So yes, all of the shout outs will be in the description, which will appear after Jane's links to get to her stories and her socials. You want to give me your socials too, right? Like your TikTok. You know, TikTok?
Yes, I have a TikTok, yes. So it's on the link tree. Everything is there. There's a TikTok, right. There's the books, the Instagram.
Right, that's right. You sent me
the newsletter that I finally created. Oh my goodness.
Well, I have to do that too. And I've also completely paid for my website to be done by Michael, you know, and he's working on it, but I haven't gotten him my bio. I haven't gotten him my resource links. I don't have a MailChimp. I don't even know I don't have that yet. So I have to do a MailChimp account, and then I guess I have to write some kind of freaking newsletter and send it out. I don't even know what I'm doing, you know, but you've done all that, right? So
MailChimp, I technically set up maybe like 2 weeks ago, honestly. And all I just did was create my like log on page. So as soon as, you know, you click to subscribe, you get my little logo, you subscribe, and then I'll have an automated email sent back to you. And that was kind of my first. I haven't done an actual newsletter yet because I'm looking, because you can see how many people have signed up. And I'm like, okay, well, people who have signed up, I know who they are. They don't really need me to send them a newsletter, except because I can just literally text them if I needed to, or I can Instagram message them. Oh my goodness.
This is Miriam.
Sorry, my cat is sleeping now. She does not want to get up.
Miriam, and she's now rubbing on the computer.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So you haven't actually written it yet, but you've gotten the MailChimp, right?
Yes. Yes, I got the MailChimp. I have it set up. I've had a few subscribers already. I've got the automated link that goes back to them, thanking them for signing up.
Cat butthole. We're getting some cat butthole.
The star.
Okay. So I don't feel quite as bad as I did. I feel
Mhm.
like I'm behind, but maybe not as much as I thought I was. So anyway, the very last thing before we say goodbye is I
Mhm.
want you to say whatever it is you'd like to say to the people who will be clicking on these links in the video description and going out and reading your stories.
Guys, we are authors, we are creators. We want you to enjoy your time and enjoy our work. It's about what you want, right? So we want you just to click, test it out, try it out. If you enjoy the work, then go ahead, continue reading it. Let us know, right? Write the review. Tell us you like it, tell us you don't like it. Be honest and just enjoy reading. That's most important. Just enjoy reading.
Yes, I think that's true. And the reason my eyeballs were getting huge is she was starting to bite the edge of my computer. In fact,
The
she
computer,
did.
yeah.
She bit it. She
Aw.
bit it. Oh my God, she bit some of the screen out.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, she got her. I should have put that freaking protector on there. Oh my God, she actually got in there.
Aw.
Shock and dismay. Don't bite that again, honey. Don't bite that. So this has been another Lawless interview. Yes, entertaining as always. Yes, thank you so much. I'm so glad you bit my screen. Anyway, and this has been Jane Apatova, and
Yes.
she is the author of Kiss of Sight, Dragon's Blood and Kiss of Sight, Dragon's Blood 1 and Dragon Queen 2, which is underway. And this sounds like a flippin' epic story that you
Trying there, getting to be as epic fantasy as possible, but also giving you a lot of smut.
to keep you smut tokers happy. So
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
so until next time, it's Azriel Lawless, and we will see you later.